For most of us, our income level is something that defines us, something that tells us where we belong and how we should live our lives. But is it a measure of your worth, your potential, your place in society, or is there more to the story? In today's video, we're going to examine what your income really says about you. Alright, let's get real for a second. When we talk about income classes in America, we're not just crunching numbers. We're diving into a whole world of different lives, hopes, and some pretty tough struggles too. Think about it. You've got folks at the bottom, grinding it out day after day. Then there's the middle, juggling bills and trying to save for a vacation. And at the top, well, they're living large, but hey, they've got their own set of problems too. First stop, the lower class. These are some of the folks who have it pretty rough, scraping by on a median net worth of just $6,030. Most pulling in a measly $25,000 to $27,000 a year, living paycheck to paycheck. A lot of these guys didn't finish high school, stuck in minimum wage jobs. A pretty tough gig if you ask us. Next, the lower middle class, median net worth of $43,760, fresh-faced graduates straight out of college, and blue-collar heroes averaging about $48,500 a year. Better, right? But not yacht money yet. The middle class, the good old American dream, right? Well, sort of. Median net worth, $104,700, bringing home close to the U.S. median of $71,000 annually. In this category, you'll find nurses, truck drivers, office managers, the beating heart of our workforce. These guys are normally earning an income most people would call comfortable. But rich? Nah. Climbing higher, the upper middle class, boasting a median net worth of $201,800. Yearly incomes are usually between $100,000 to $150,000. Doctors, lawyers, successful small business owners, doing all right but not lighting cigars with $100 bills. Yet. Finally, the upper class, the top 20%. Median net worth for these guys is a jaw-dropping $608,900. Average income, $237,000 per year. Big shot executives, hot shot surgeons, tech wizards. Living large. Okay, so now you know what the different income classes look like. Let's talk a little more about age so you can see where you fit in amongst your peers. Normally a much better indicator of your real social class. First up, 25-year-olds. Most of these guys are probably fresh out of college, figuring out adulting, pulling in about $48,000 a year on average. Not bad for someone who probably still has their college ID. Fast forward a decade, 35-year-olds now making an average of $73,000. A sweet jump. Adulting may start to get hard, but your bank account is now showing for it. Now here's where it gets weird. 45, 55, 65-year-olds, all hovering around $82,000 a year. This is the kind of age where a lot of people are going to hit a ceiling with their income. But don't panic. We'll dig into why later. So let's break it down by percentiles to give a better look. If you're in the 25th percentile, it means you're doing better than 25% of your peers, which at this age would mean 25-year-olds scraping by on $25,000, 65-year-olds at $35,000. Not quite living the high life. The 75th percentile is where it gets interesting. Young 25-year-olds are already making $57,000. By 65, a cool $100,000. Not too shabby. But hold on to your hats. The 90th percentile. That's where the magic really starts to happen. At 25, these high flyers are pulling in $82,000. And by 65, a whopping $157,000 a year. So what's the takeaway point here? Income usually grows with age. Shocking, I know, but it's not just about getting older. It's about gaining experience, skills, making smart career moves. When you take age into consideration with income, It really gives a much better view as to what your income really says about you. Because like we've seen, earning $75K at 25 and 65 are very different sums. But here's the real kicker. No matter where you are on this spectrum, there's always room for growth. Your journey might look different, and that's okay. Maybe you're a 25-year-old tech whiz making six figures, or a 55-year-old who just found their true calling. Life's funny. The point is, don't get hung up on these numbers. They're guidelines, not gospel. And what matters is what you do with what you've got. And that's what we're talking about next. Now let's dive into financial strategies for every income level. Whether you're just scraping by or living the high life, there's something here for you. Lower income warriors. I know it's tough. You're just trying to keep the lights on, but trust me when I say that focusing on the essentials and creating some breathing room in your budget is absolutely crucial. Track every penny you spend. That gum you bought on impulse, write it down. The quarter you found on the street, take note of it. Next, boost your income in any way you can. Side hustle, ask for more hours, whatever it takes. Every little bit helps. And any extra money? Straight into savings. Even if it's just a few bucks a week, it'll add up over time. Middle income mavericks, you've got some wiggle room, but this is the area where you can't slack off. Balance the essentials with saving and investing. Yes, investing. Start with an emergency fund, aiming to build up about 3 to 6 months worth of expenses. It might take a while, but your future self will thank you. Once you've got that safety net, tackle high-interest debt head-on. Credit cards, payday loans, all that nasty stuff. Pay it off ASAP. Then, and only then, start thinking about investing. If your company offers a 401k with a match, take advantage of it. That's free money, people. Upper middle income achievers, listen up. You've got a real shot at long-term success on your hands. Max out those retirement accounts, 401k, IRA, all of it. If you've got money left over, consider opening a taxable brokerage account to get some extra savings. But here's the kicker. Avoid lifestyle inflation at all costs. Just because you can afford that fancy car doesn't mean you should buy it. Live below your means as much as you can and invest that extra cash. Trust me, in years to come, you'll be grateful you did it. And to all you high-income, high flyers, congrats on your success. But remember, more money, more problems. Your mission is twofold. Maximize wealth-building opportunities and avoid the pitfalls of a high income. Common issues like overspending, neglecting taxes, thinking you're invincible, you have to avoid all of these traps like they're the plague. Consider a financial advisor to optimize your investments and minimize taxes. Now you're in a position where you can explore advanced options like real estate or starting a business. But no matter your income, educate yourself. Read, listen, attend workshops. The more you know, the better decisions you'll make. Personal finance is your own choice, remember? What works for one might not work for another. But these strategies are a real solid foundation, so get out there and make it happen. Now it's time for a little story. I call this one, How to Royally Screw Up Your Finances. But don't worry if you're taking notes, there's a happy ending, if you pay attention. First up, living paycheck to paycheck. I don't care if you're making minimum wage or six figures. If you're spending every dollar you earn, you're on a tightrope with no net. One unexpected expense and you're in trouble. Not a good place for you to be in. Next, neglecting retirement savings. I get it, retirement seems far off. It's easy to skip your monthly or weekly deposit. These skipped savings are all going to add up one day, sooner or later, so start saving now. And don't forget the classic blunder of overspending on non-essentials. Treating yourself is fine, but if you're blowing half your paycheck on lattes and avocado toast, we need to talk about that. Another dooming mistake? Failing to budget. Flying blind with your finances is like navigating without a map. You might reach your destination eventually, but you've wasted a whole lot of time and money in order to get there. The last mistake to avoid, ignoring compound interest. It's a double-edged sword. Consistent investments can snowball into a substantial sum, but that innocent-looking credit card balance can turn into a soul-crushing debt if you're not staying on top of them. Choose wisely. The good news? These pitfalls are avoidable with discipline, planning, and maybe a few lifestyle tweaks. Your future self will thank you, because isn't that the point? Long-term success and financial freedom, not just fleeting instant gratification. So there you have it, a roadmap of traps to avoid. Now that you know you're ahead of the game, go forth and conquer, my financially savvy friends. Let's dive into the minds of folks at different income levels. How do they think about money? Lower income folks, they're often stuck in survival mode. Money's not about freedom or future. It's about making it to the next paycheck. It's stressful, like walking a tightrope over a pit of alligators. Every dollar counts, and the idea of saving for a rainy day seems like a joke when it's always raining. Spend it while you've got it isn't just a saying, it's a way of life. Why? Because when you're not sure where your next meal is coming from, long-term planning feels like a luxury that you can't afford. It's a constant battle against scarcity, and it takes a toll, mentally, emotionally, physically. Middle-class minds are a bit different. They're juggling, trying to keep up with the Joneses while also squirreling away for retirement. It's like being at a buffet with a small plate. You want it all, but the choices have to be made. Tough choices. These folks often see money as a tool for stability. They're thinking about college funds, mortgage payments, and maybe an annual vacation. But there's a constant tension between enjoying life now and saving for later. Now the upper class, they're playing a whole different ballgame. Money's not just about survival or stability, it's about growth and legacy. They're thinking generations ahead, not just months or years. It's chess, not checkers. For them, money's a tool for opportunity. It's not about affording things, it's about affording options. Should they invest in a startup, buy a vacation home, fund a charity? These are champagne problems, folks, but they come with their own stresses. But here's the kicker. No matter what income level you're at, your mindset can make or break you. I've seen folks making six figures living paycheck to paycheck, and minimum wage workers building impressive nest eggs. It's not just about how much you make, it's about how you think about what you make. Money mindset is like a muscle. It needs to be exercised, strengthened, trained. And just like physical exercise, it's harder for some than others. But it's possible. Always possible. All right, let's talk investing. Spoiler alert, it looks different depending on where you are on the income ladder. Real different. Lower income classes? Investing often feels like a pipe dream. When you're stretching every dollar, the stock market might as well be on Mars. If there is any investing, it's usually in the bank of mattress, stashing cash for emergencies. It's not pretty, but it's real. Some might dabble in micro-investing apps, throwing spare change into the market. It's not much, but hey, it's a start. And let's not forget the lottery, the poor man's investment strategy. Spoiler, it's not a great one. But when you're desperate for a change, sometimes hope is all you've got. Middle-class investors are typically all about that 401k life. They're contributing enough to get the company match, maybe dabbling in some index funds or target date funds. It's not sexy, but it's solid. Slow and steady wins the race, right? Some might venture into real estate, usually starting with their own home. It's the American dream, right? A house that hopefully appreciates while you live in it. 2 birds, 1 stone, but it comes with its own challenges: maintenance, property taxes, the joys of homeownership. Now, the upper class. They're playing 3D chess while everyone else is playing checkers. We're talking diversified portfolios, real estate empires, maybe some venture capital action. They're not just investing in stocks, they're investing in companies, sometimes their own. It's a whole new level. They've got the luxury of taking bigger risks. Cryptocurrency? Sure, why not? Angel investing in startups? Let's roll the dice. And while you've got money to spare, you can afford to swing for the fences. But remember, bigger risks can mean bigger falls. It's not all glamour and champagne. The key takeaway? No matter where you are, start where you can. even small investments can grow over time. It's not about keeping up with the Joneses, it's about setting yourself up for the future. Your future. Credit cards, the plastic dream or a financial nightmare? Well, it depends on who you ask and how much they make. Lower income classes often see credit cards as a necessary evil. It's a lifeline when the paycheck doesn't stretch far enough. But it's a dangerous game with high interest rates ready to pounce. A slippery slope that can lead to a debt avalanche. Middle-class credit card users, they're all about those rewards. Cash back, airline miles, you name it. They're trying to make their spending work for them, but sometimes they bite off more than they can chew. The allure of points can lead to overspending. The upper class? Credit cards are just a convenience. They're racking up platinum rewards, but the balance? Paid in full, baby. It's a whole different world up there. Platinum cards, concierge services, and perks galore. Remember, no matter your income, credit cards are a tool. Use them wisely, or they'll use you. And trust me, you don't want to be on the losing end of that deal. Wrapping up. Imagine your income as the opening move in a chess game. It sets the stage, but it doesn't determine the outcome. The real game changer? Your financial strategy. Whether you're playing with pawns or queens, it's your moves that count. Cultivate a strong mindset, form rock-solid habits, and deploy clever tactics. Don't let your paycheck define you. Instead, view it as your first play in a much larger match, because here's the truth. Your income isn't the headline. Your financial decisions are the real story. Oh, want to know why the middle class's net worth skyrockets after 100K? Check it out here.